Our fourth lesson in Chapter 2 is the solving equations by combining like terms. A review of what like terms are. Like terms are groups of terms that have the same variable or variables and the power assigned to those variable or variables. Here are some examples of like terms. 5x and 6x are like terms, and 3x squared along with negative 2x squared are like terms of each other. Examples that are not like terms are as follows. 3y and 4z are not like terms because they have different variables. 3t squared and 3t to the fourth are not like terms because they have different powers assigned to the variable of t. Please be mindful of that as you move forward. Combining like terms means to add them together. Probably one of the most important things we can tell you in this lesson is that you can only combine like terms on one side of the equation. You combine like terms on the left and you combine like terms on the right. You can't cross combine over the equal sign. So your procedure is as follows. The first thing you want to do is eliminate any parentheses by using the distributive property. The second thing you want to do is combine like terms. Notice that I've underlined the letter C, the letter L, and the letter T. I'll be using the acronym CLT for combining like terms from now on. Then you would solve the equation just like you would any other that we've talked about in this particular chapter. Please make sure you remember to check your work. A big time hint for you once again is that if there's no number existing in front of any set of parentheses, you should put a 1 there. Here's an example that we'll do together. We have x minus the quantity 3x plus 6 equal to 12. The first thing I'm going to do is distribute a negative 1 to both the 3x and the 6. Notice I put a 1 in front of the parentheses to remind myself to distribute a negative 1. Of course, I write the distributive property. I then have like terms I need to combine. I have x and negative 3x. I'm going to combine them to get 2x minus negative 2x minus 6. I put CLT to the right to remind myself that I combined like terms. It's not necessary to do so, but it's a good practice. I then am going to add 6 to both sides using the addition property of equality, and then I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides using the division property of equality to get x equal to negative 9. My check is below. Notice all steps are filled in my check. Let's take a look at another example. Pause the video at this point to give yourself a chance to do the example. So the first thing I want to do is put a 1 in front of the parentheses and distribute a 1 throughout the x and the negative 5. That's my distributive property. Then I combined like terms by adding x and x because they are like terms. I now have 43 equal to 2x minus 5. Adding 5 to both sides gives me 48 equal to 2x. That's the addition property of equality. I then divide both sides by 2 to get 24 equal to x. I used the division property of equality to divide both sides by 2. My check is below, completely done with all steps. Let's try one more example. This one's a little more difficult, but does not include too many extra steps. Pause the video at this point to give yourself a chance to do the example. So the first thing I did was distribute the 7 and distribute the 3 to their sets of parentheses. Please don't call that double distribution because that's not what it is. I used the distributive property twice. When I combined like terms, I have two sets of like terms I need to combine, the 7x and the 3x, along with the positive 14 and negative 9. When I combine like terms, that equation gets a lot less ugly, and now we have 10x plus 5 equal to 35. Subtracting 5 from both sides gives me 10x equal to 30, using the subtraction property of equality, and then dividing both sides by 10 to give me x equals 3 is the result of the division property of equality. My check, with all steps included, is below. Homework in this section is the combining like terms worksheet that was given out in class. If you do not have your worksheet or you were not in class, please consult my website for the worksheet.